Hello everyone, I'm Ray and today is an exciting day. Today, we were finally given the cast of Big Brother 24. We now have the 16 house guests and tomorrow's the premiere, but today, as promised, I am going to give a cast assessment based on what CBS has given us. They haven't given us much, so a lot of this is going to be me looking at their jobs with my own opinion and going from there. I am very excited about this. I'm excited to see how I do with this assessment as this season goes on. I'm going to be revisiting this a lot. And I just want to see how the season plays out, and I'm excited to do so. So without further ado, here is the cast. I'm going to start off with Mr. Marvin Achi. Marvin is a chemical processing engineer. Being a chemical processing engineer, it is safe to assume that he is very intelligent, that he's going to be able to come at the game with intelligence and have math to be able to go behind all these different moves that he might be making throughout the entire season. And I think based on that he can do well in the game. The one downside that he might have is he looks strong, and there's a good chance he could get labeled as a comp beast and voted out because of that. The next person we have is Miss Paloma Aguilar. She is 22 and she is an interior designer. Being an interior designer, she's probably very creative. So I could see her coming up with some creative ways to maneuver the game. And I would like to see her do that. Not just short little basic moves, but I would like to see her using a creative mind to come up with some of these better moves. Next we have Mr. Michael Bruner. He is 28 and he is an attorney. I honestly think that he will do very well in this game, and he has a very good shot at making it far in the game because he is an attorney. An attorney, especially if they're a prosecutor or a defense attorney, they go before judges and juries, and they have to convince the judge and the jury that their side of the story is the truth. So I could see Mr. Michael being very good at lying, and that is a crucial skill in the game. So I think he will do well. Next we have Mr. Kyle Kapaner. He's 29 years old and he is unemployed. I don't know much about Mr. Kapaner to be able to give an assessment on how I think he'll do. I want to put him as the biggest wild card of this season, especially just looking at this bare minimum we were given. He's unemployed, so I don't know what he's interested in. I don't know nothing about his personality. So to me, right now, he is the biggest wild card. Next, we have Miss Jasmine Davis. Jasmine is 29 and she is an entrepreneur. This could be good for her because entrepreneurs work to have people make businesses for them, start up those businesses. So she is going to want people to come to her to get their business going. By doing this, I could see her in the game wanting people to trust her enough to come to her to make big moves. I think she can do well. Next we have Mr. Daniel Durston. He is 35 years old and he is a Vegas performer. First off, I'm very excited to see a Vegas performer on the show again. I'm excited to see what he does. I think that he will be able to do well because he is very charismatic being a performer, and he's going to want people to come see his shows. So he's going to want people to come to him, and I could see him maybe doing some of his performance stuff, whatever he does, to get people to open up to him more. Then we have Taylor Hale, 27 years old, a personal stylist. I think that Taylor is someone that people need to watch out for. Personal stylist have to have a lot of charisma as well, because they have to be able to get people to want to come to them for their styling tips. I think this could work very much in Taylor's favor. And I'm excited to see what can happen. Do I think that it's enough to get her far in the game alone? No. I think that a lot more is going to need to be done in order for Taylor to succeed. Then we have Terrence Higgins. He's 47 years old and he is a bus operator. Being a bus operator is kind of a tough job, I would think, because you have to have a tough skin, because a lot of times you're going to be dealing with unruly people wanting to ride the bus. They might not have the proper bus fare or something, and you're going to have to be able to settle them down without anybody to back them up. And I think that can work well, because if the house guest gets unruly and things start going in a way he doesn't want them to, he will be able to draw them back in. I think that as a disadvantage, his age, because he's not really going to have a lot to talk to about with those in their 20s. He's the oldest person in the game, so the youngest person is 22. And that is a 25-year age difference. A lot of stuff has gone on in 25 years. A lot of things have developed. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how he navigates the game as the oldest house guest. Next we have Brittany Hoops. She is 32 years old and she is a hypnotherapist. It's interesting to see a hypnotherapist on Big Brother, because therapy in general is very helpful for people, and people tend to look for someone they can trust so that they can have somebody else to talk to. They know different strategies and different ways to build trust with people, and I think that is going to be key for her. I think she will be able to go into the house, get people to trust her, especially if she tells them she's a therapist, because I know that I personally would gravitate towards somebody who's a therapist, because I know that they're going to be a people person, they're going to be outgoing, but they're also going to know how to listen. Knowing how to listen in this is a key. I also think that Brittany will do well and probably has a very good shot at winning this game. Then we have Amira Jones. She is 31 years old, and she is a content designer. When I think of content designer, I think of like people who stream on Twitch or YouTube, and they have to know how to talk to people in order to gain an audience so that people want to come back and watch her. This will be beneficial to her in the game, because it's a social game. She's going to have to know how to talk to these people at different ways in order to gain their trust, get to know them. And I think that can work in her favor. Like, I really think it will, because I don't know how big her audiences are, but I think if her audiences are rather large, she's going to be able to succeed more in the Big Brother house. Then we have Miss Nicole Leag. She's 41 years old, and she is a private chef. I first want to apologize if I butchered that last name. But as a private chef, she has at least one good thing going for her, and that is that she can cook. They're going to want somebody who can cook for them in the Big Brother house. Second, she has to be able to advertise herself so that people want her to cook for her. That might not seem like a lot, but when it comes to Big Brother, that's going to be a lot, because it's going to allow her the opportunity to sell herself better. And that will work in her favor, I believe. Then we have Joe Pucciarelli. He's 24 years old, and he is an assistant football coach. Being an assistant football coach can work in his favor, because he's used to being around people of various ages. He's used to coming up with different strategies for offense and defense. Even if he's not the head coordinator of it all, he still has the chance to watch and learn from those who devise the plans. So he's going to have that to his advantage, and I can see him using his knowledge as an assistant football coach to create these ideas that can get him further into the game. Then we have Miss Indy Santos. She is 31 years old, and she is a corporate flight attendant. Being a flight attendant is a hard job, because when you work as a flight attendant, you have all these passengers on a plane who sometimes get aggravated over the simplest thing, and you have to know how to bring the situation down. You have to be able to just escalate it so that it doesn't become something more than it already is. So she will know how to talk to people, how to bring them back down when they're having a bad day, and she's very charismatic, it's safe to say. Being a flight attendant, you have to be charismatic. You have to know how to handle people in a way that a lot of people might not know how to handle. So I'm very excited to see how well that translates to this game. Then we have Miss Alyssa Snyder. She is 24 years old, and she is a marketing rep. Being a marketing rep will also help her in the game. She's used to advertising products for her company to get the company to have new people, new clients, new customers come in. So in the game of Big Brother, a lot of times you have to sell yourself that you are best for this person's game. And I think she already has a step up on them because of that. I think she's going to know the strategies that are needed in order to help sell herself so that others will want to work with her. And I'm excited to see how she does. Then we have Mr. Monte Taylor. He is 27 years old, and he is a personal trainer. I think right off the bat, he's going to be dinged for being a comp beast. I think that no matter what, he's going to struggle. It might work with him. He's probably very good at talking to people. So I think he will be able to do well when it comes to the social aspect. But there will come a time when they're going to want to vote him out because he's probably going to win a lot of physical comps in a row. And then finally, we have Mr. Matt Turner. He is a 23-year-old, and he owns a thrift store. Being 23 years old and owning a thrift store is very impressive to me because I don't know what it takes to really start up a store and what goes into a business, but he seems pretty successful. He knows what it takes to run a business, so he knows what it's going to take to talk to everybody in the house. He knows what he's going to have to do in order to find success in the game. And if he's successful at keeping a store running at the age of 23, I think there's also a very good chance he's going to be successful at selling himself and running the game. So with that, we have 10 house guests that are in their 20s, 4 house guests that are in their 30s, and 2 house guests that are in their 40s. The youngest house guest is Paloma at the age of 22, and the oldest house guest is Terrence at the age of 47. I think that Michael Brenner has a good shot at winning this game because he's an attorney. He's going to know how to plead his case very well. If he doesn't tell people he's an attorney, I can see him using that to his advantage to slip to his end. I think that Marvin, Monte, and Pooch are going to be labeled as comp beast. And that's nothing against them. It's not necessarily a bad thing, especially early on in the game. But it's also something that they're going to need to watch out for. I think that Terrence and Nicole are going to struggle because of the age difference in the house guest. Nicole's 41, Terrence is 47. So whenever it comes to talking to people in their 20s, it's going to be a lot harder for them to do. But I could see them maybe taking on like a parental role in a way, and working that angle. That would work out for them very well. I think that the biggest wild card for me is definitely Mr. Kyle Kapner, because like I said, he's unemployed, so I don't know what he does. I don't know what his degree of education is. I don't know enough about him as a person based on what CBS gave us to really give a good assessment on him. So he's the biggest wild card for me. So I'm really excited for this. The premiere's tomorrow, so I'm going to have another episode up on Thursday. Please like, share, comment, subscribe to this channel, and bring your friends. Have everybody come and watch this. I look forward to continuing doing this throughout the rest of the season of Big Brother, and I'm excited to see where this goes. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you on Thursday with a breakdown of the premiere episode. Thank you.